Hey everybody, thanks again for clicking on another episode of the Those Fantasy Dudes podcast. If you haven't already, you should go over to one of our podcast platforms, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, whichever one you use, and subscribe. That way you never miss an episode. New episodes come out every single Wednesday. Also, if you like the show, either tell a friend or go ahead and leave a review on one of those platforms. It would really help us out and get us right up in that algorithm for other fantasy football players just like you who could use some extra advice. This week, Jake and I are talking about some key injuries that took place during Week 4. We're also talking about our upcoming matchups and answering some of your start and sit decisions, as well as seeing if we should be trading some of those big key players in your lineup if you are struggling 4 weeks into the season. Hope you enjoy the show, and best of luck in your Week 5 matchups.
Welcome to Those Fantasy Dudes podcast with your hosts, Jonathan and Jake.
All right, Jake and John back again, Those Fantasy Dudes podcast. This is our 7th episode going into the Week 5 matchups, the podcast where we talk a little NFL news, start and sit decisions, basically just talk shit about our league mates, talk about some injuries, pretty much anything to do with our fantasy football team, specifically redraft, dynasty, and our keeper leagues. What's going on, Jake?
You know, living the dream. I had a pretty good week in fantasy, so I'm feeling pretty good.
You did. You had a really good week in one league.
I had a really good week in most of them, but the one loss I got was the league I was already 0-3 in. So
might as well tack on another one at that point.
It's like, what are you gonna do? I mean, I guess 1-3 would be nice, but
you're trending down, trending down in the redraft league, and I'm kind of doing the same. I'm 1-3.
Man, I'll tell you, I truly think that fantasy football redraft is hard to do, like is hard to be good at. I think you and I overthink it at this point.
Maybe we do.
I truly do. And I drafted a good team, and then I get like this belief in guys behind that I have on my bench, and so I don't drop them, and then they do fuck all, and I don't.
Dude, I did the same thing.
Instead of burning fucking $150 on Cordero Patterson, like the thing is, if you made that move and you told somebody last year in fantasy football that was like going to be a worthwhile move, they'd fucking laugh at you, but it makes sense now. Like I would pay $150 waiver dollars to get him.
At this point, he's the RB2 behind the fucking Yeti behind Derrick Henry, and I don't think you could ask a single person before the season started that would have thought that he'd be in the top 35 running backs.
That is ungodly, dude.
You can check us out on Instagram, Facebook, thosefantasydudespodcast.com. Send us your questions every single week. I haven't had a single person send them via our contact page, but just know I worked really hard on that website. So if you go on there, go to the contact page and send it to that. Or just go on Instagram and send it there if that's easier. That's totally fine as well.
Yeah. Just send them anywhere. If you send them to Instagram, I'll probably read them. So send them to Instagram.
Yeah, anywhere. Snail mail. Again, we still accept that. We don't have a P.O. box yet.
We will accept snail mail. Actually, if you send in snail mail...
What is snail mail? Is that just like
that's just
really
mail.
Cheap postage? Like you go to the post office?
It's just regular mail. It's just regular mail. Like if you put a stamp on a thing and put it in your mailbox, put the flag up, and the mailman takes it, snail mail.
Yeah, but there's certain packaging you can get where it becomes like first class. You know what I mean?
I think snail mail is definitely the basics. I can't imagine it's like, if you can't afford snail mail, go first class. It's not like first class isn't generally the downgrade.
Just send us the messages on Instagram. That would be ideal. Check us out on all those major podcast platforms: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Amazon Music, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, CastBox, Reason, Radio Public, Breaker, Pocket Cast, and Anchor.
Is Anchor paying you extra? Is Anchor paying you extra to say there's longer?
No, I like to accentuate the R at the end. I used to have problems saying my R's. Did you know that? I had to go to speech therapy in 4th grade.
Oh, that's good.
We're gonna
you're
cut that
very
part
articulate.
Out. Yeah,
well, you're
I
very
know, it's
articulate. Crazy. Genuinely, even if you're not leaving this in, like you're very genuinely articulate.
I love getting compliments. It really, I mean, as an only child.
I know you do, only child. I was going to say, I know you do, only child.
I have used that excuse weekly. In some instance, I definitely bring it into conversation. All right, Jake, so we talk some NFL news and injury updates?
Let's do it.
NFL news and injury updates.
All right, so 31 teams have lost in the NFL. The only team that has not is, Jake, who are they?
The Cardinals.
Yeah, who predicted that? The 4-0 Arizona Cardinals, who brought down the formerly 3-0 Rams, who also beat the Buccaneers last week, by like 2 or 3 scores, actually, which was very impressive, I must say.
Yeah, and don't forget that AJ Green in 2021 is an integral part of this high-powered offense.
It's crazy because it actually has taken away a lot from like the key player in that offense that you would have spent a lot of fantasy capital on, DeAndre Hopkins, which I don't have him in any leagues, but
nope.
He's hurting based on what you would want from DeAndre Hopkins.
He's a guy that didn't return his draft capital for the wide receiver position.
We agree on something.
Definitely.
They're playing the 49ers this week with Trey Lance, who I have in Dynasty, who
no one cares.
Very tempted to start this week, Jake.
You're tempted to start him over Tom Brady, who's been on fire?
The Tom Brady who got 11 points last week to Trey Lance's over 20 points in less than half?
As long as he's starting, I fully support it. I'm just saying, don't count this last game against Tom Brady. You have to understand he played against the guy who has coached him for 20 plus years. If you tried to do anything against anyone who's even known you for 20 years, I would say it's going to be harder. I think you and I playing football against each other would be significantly harder than either of us playing someone we never met.
I would agree. And it was also definitely a weather factor there. It was very rainy. It was very, very cold and grimy.
Not a very pass-heavy game, which is, not a big scrambler. Not a big scrambler. Big sneaker. Not a big scrambler. Big
sneakers?
Yeah, I don't know how big his shoes are, but he is a big sneaker.
Tom Brady?
Tom Brady.
He is really good at QB sneaks, which is another reason why I like him in fantasy, because every once in a while he'll get you that 1-yard touchdown run. People
forget.
More often than not. Josh Gordon is officially active, and Andy Reid has said he will make his return on Sunday. Jake, your guy.
Yeah.
He's going to have a 6-foot bong on the sideline, and he's going to be cranking it out and flipping off Roger Goodell to the cameras.
I would be so much more interested in watching the Kansas City game if he was out there ripping bongs on the sideline.
Yeah, man. All of them.
They should really let Josh Gordon, and they should let Andy Reid. They can get it catered. It'll hit both of them.
They could just have like Subway cater the entire game and just have Josh giant 6-foot-long sandwiches and weed everywhere.
Just fucking cooked, and Andy Reid's just going to be housing the other side of a 6-foot sandwich with him.
Dude, I want to see him come out of the tunnel with like smoke flying out of his ears with bloodshot red eyes. I love Josh Gordon. He's great. He's probably not going to be high for the game, but if he is, I condone it.
Hey, didn't T.O. say he was high for a whole bunch of games? Or Chad Ochocinco, didn't he say he was fucking stoned for a bunch of games? I swear it was one of those two.
Don't quote us on that, but that definitely happened.
Yeah, it was one of... Dude, I'll look it up.
We can get back to that later. Also, very minor news, but the Dolphins sent Jakeem Grant to the Bears for a 2023 6th-round pick. So
the second string running back on the Bears, I don't actually know his name, but they're bringing in Jakeem Grant because he's going to do special teams returns, because I don't think Damian Williams is going to be a bell cow like Montgomery. I think it's going to be Damian Williams and this other guy. That's why they brought in Jakeem Grant. So that's something to make sure you consider when you're looking at who to pick up. Is also put a waiver claim in on the second string Bears running back. His name, hold on, escapes me.
I do have it right here. It's Khalil Herbert. So
I'm not saying, I think Damian Williams is going to get the lion's share of the carries, but the dude's also old anyway and could just as well get injured. And if you don't have waiver priority or you don't have any money and you still want to, you still got space on your bench and for a possible ticket, I mean, Damian Williams goes out in 2 weeks, you still get probably 3 solid weeks of this dude being a bell cow.
Yeah, definitely. We got DJ Chark injured after like 2 plays in the Thursday night game against the Bengals. He is out for the season. If this was last year when I was a lot more hyped on DJ Chark, I think I would care a little bit more about it affecting my fantasy team. But he's more of a
had the most
option.
Bizarre production, and honestly, I would say if you can afford it, stay pretty far away from the Jags. The Jags offense. Urban Meyer is absolutely running a shit show over there. If you look at any of the things that come out of I'm not even going to talk about his own personal life issues because that's his own thing. But what that's caused in the room is basically, from what I read, he went into like a room with different specialized groups of players, different skill groups of players, rather than putting the whole team together. And he individually apologized. No. He individually apologized to them, but he basically claimed that, I didn't know her, and like all this and that, and like that there was nothing going on and shit like that. And I guess from what the player said, as soon as he walked out of the room, they all laughed at him.
Yeah, that's not how you want your team to see you. If you weren't already not a very motivating person for your team that's 0-4, you really aren't now.
That's not even necessarily the end of it. He already wasn't, like, before this happened, he wasn't really connecting with the players well. And now,
do you think he
definitely
lasts the whole season? I think he does.
Geez, I don't know. It's tough to say. I haven't been paying attention to NFL coaching for long enough to really have any context for how something like this might play out, to be honest. But the franchise would be stupid to continue along with him. They have a lot of talent there. If they can get a guy that those guys can rally behind, they could do something.
I do wonder if they have an interim head coach that on the staff already that the players do like, or maybe like, I don't know who the defensive coordinator is. Offensive.
That makes the most sense to me. Talk to the players, talk to the captains, and talk to the leaders, and just kind of just see, well, who would they respect? Who's somebody that, if they're not a permanent fix, could fill the gap and help to at least grow some of these younger players?
Anyways,
what do we got next?
Yeah, so the biggest injury of the week for me personally, I have him in, I think, 2 leagues. My work league, I have him, and in our redraft league, David Montgomery did not look good when he went down on the field. You could tell that he was in legitimate pain, or maybe it was just frustration for the fact that he was injured. It ended up being a sprain, I think. He didn't tear anything. There's nothing broken, but he is going to have to rest for at least 4 to 5 weeks, which really sucks.
I think it was probably frustration, dude. He's been putting on a pretty good season.
Especially in that game, he had already put up 2 touchdowns. You could tell he was fired up, even though it was
that was the one where it was where he like turned around and pushed everyone into the end zone, walking backwards.
He carried the entire Lions defensive line 10 yards.
Yeah, dude.
It was awesome.
Man. David Montgomery's a man, dude.
Yeah, I love him. This is a very pro David Montgomery take. So this sucks to hear. You hate to see a guy go down, especially a guy that's leading your fantasy team. So yeah, but also Damian Williams does have a thigh bruise, but he should be okay. So I would definitely put a claim in for him, as well as Khalil Herbert and deeper leagues, maybe Dynasty, if you want to grab any of those guys off waivers.
Yeah, like I said before, just definitely look at Khalil Herbert, especially if you're in a dynasty. Even if you're in a redraft and you're really hungry for an RB, like you need one, and you don't have the fab or you don't have the priority to get Damian Williams, I would definitely consider adding Khalil as just a speculative add. In like a 12 man plus, probably. I probably wouldn't in like a 10.
Worst case, I would pick someone up if they're already on IR, put them on your team, and then go ahead and just pick up Khalil Herbert as well if you don't have anybody that you want to drop.
That's also that would be really great going into this week if he's still on your waivers going into this week. Pop somebody in your IR if you can. You'll get a Friday practice report or
There's a great chance nobody picks him up at all. You can wait till Thursday or wait till all the waiver priorities go through and then just add him afterwards, I would think. So Joe Mixon also, he was week to week, and then I forget the coach's name, but he came out and he's like, no, he's day to day now. I personally don't think he plays this week. He does have a long week to rest. Like, their game was last Thursday, so it's very likely he could be okay. But if you do have Joe Mixon, I would definitely try to get Samaje if you don't have a backup plan already.
I got Samaje in Dynasty.
You do? Okay. I thought you did. And Samaje is good.
Yeah.
Like, when he gets the ball, he's not bad. You know?
I mean, it's him. It's him or Alexander Madison, DJ Dallas, Tyson Williams, or, God, please, Elijah Mitchell. Just come back and play football.
Yeah. I know, dude. I don't. What can you do?
Week
there?
1, 19 for 104 and a touchdown. Oh,
I know.
On 64% of snaps.
I got him in the keeper, and I'm think I'm potentially dropping him, so you might be able to pick him up.
Yeah, I don't want him. I mean, maybe in keeper, I guess, but
yeah, it's come to a point where a lot of the guys on my bench, I'm like, I can't keep you at this point. I wish I had 12 bench spots, but I have 6. So Christian McCaffrey might play this week. The Panthers need him.
Was it worth the fab, John?
No. I don't think it was worth all my fab. I could have plugged in. Who else was on my bench this week? I'm going to check, actually. Who would have been a better option and saved me 69 fab?
We're not even 25% through the season. You spent almost 100% of your fab.
So basically what that did for me is it got me less than a 1.5 advantage opposed to starting Miles Sanders this week.
Yep.
69 fab saved me a 1.5 overall score.
It's good that you spent $69 on him.
Yeah, thanks, Jake. I appreciate it. Didn't have to spend anything, but when Jake was literally, what's the term I'm trying to think of? Gaslighting me into spending all my fab because he was going to do it, and
you mean I
totally
was strategizing you into spending all of your fab?
If that's what you want to call it,
I was being too good at this game.
Yeah, sure. It's more than a fucking game, and
I'm sorry, I was too good at this, John. I just told him that I was going to spend more than what he had available because I had more fab than him, and then he was freaking out. And then I just basically, after I told him that, he was totally fine to tell me how much he was spending on it. So then I was just like, oh man, well,
that's a lot of fab.
That's gonna be tough. That's gonna be
and
tough.
The thing is like I had already committed, regardless of what you said. I wasn't taking the risk on not getting Chuba. It was going to happen regardless. Dude,
so. But you got to do that to people in your league.
Take this as a word of advice. Gaslight all your league mates when it hurts them the most, but they have no other choice.
Because you get them in this position where now you know how much they're spending. And if you can gas them up to spend way more over, then you win. And if not, you can just outbid them and get the player for yourself.
I love how you got slightly closer to the mic as if this is like telling a secret.
It's not telling a secret. I'm just really excited about it. I was really excited when you actually sent that. I thought you were going to send that waiver claim through for like $5 and that you were trying to do this to me. And so when I saw that waiver claim go through for 69, I was like, let's go. Oh man.
I really wish that was true, but I'm not that smart. When I'm too truthful. I really wanted to tell you for the sake of the show. Like I did. Whatever. All right. Do have some minor injuries. Also, Christian McCaffrey, I don't think he will play this week, but it is possible. So have a backup plan, but he might play. Probably not. Teddy Bridgewater went out this week, which sucks for the Broncos, man. That blows.
That does suck for the Broncos. Oh, man. I didn't even realize that. I saw Drew Lock got sacked, and I was like, Drew Lock.
Yeah, I didn't realize it
put
either
two and two
at
together.
first, but yeah, he has a concussion, so he might start. He might not, basically.
At least it's not long term, dude. You know, that's the one thing you can say. At least it's like they can expect somebody back.
Jimmy Garoppolo hurt his calf again. He's always injured. I feel bad for the guy. I really do. Kyle Shanahan did say there's a chance he plays this week because he doesn't like to be truthful to the press about anything.
Yeah. Play Kyle Juszczyk.
It's not bad advice, but I wouldn't.
No, I wouldn't play Kyle Juszczyk unless you're in like a very, very deep league and you have no running backs.
Yeah, that's the only situation. But he could get you a touchdown. He could vulture one.
He's great actually. I love first off, I love fullbacks. Second off, I like Kyle Juszczyk.
Tony Jones Jr. ankle injury. He might go to the IR. He was carted off the field. With Alvin Kamara being a non-factor as it is, he had 0 targets last week, Jake, by the way. You probably already knew that because he's on one of your teams.
Yeah, unfortunately. But also, yeah, Allie won this week because he put up a dud against her. in work
Oh,
week.
really? No. Okay.
Yeah, so I knew about it. Yeah.
This just came out. Chris Carson, neck injury. He did not practice today, and I feel as though he probably won't play this week because their game is in 2 days. So if he's not practicing now, we'll see. He might power through it. He is Chris Carson, but he had a shit game last week anyway. Did you see Alex Collins getting all the work? What the fuck was that?
No, oh, yeah, I did see that, dude.
Yeah, man.
Does anybody have him in Dynasty?
I remember, like, it was like 5 or 6 years ago. He was like the next thing. Like, people were like, "Oh man, Alex Collins,
dude." Frank has Alex Collins.
Frank is the sleeper of our sleeper league.
Man, Frank is really good.
If you ask him, he wouldn't agree with you. But
yeah, no, the problem is he hasn't won yet. But like, he is a dangerous team. He knows what he's doing.
Will Fuller broke his finger. He was a non-factor anyway, and the Dolphins are. I don't think they're going to win another game this year.
Yeah.
Okay. Dynamite Brown hurt his knee.
Dynamite Brown.
I have him on my dynasty team. I'm keeping him. He's not going anywhere, but I hope he's okay. Logan Thomas, hamstring injury. Here's the thing. I do have Logan Thomas in one league, my Yahoo Winners League. There's a lot of tight ends on the waiver wire that have been just going off. And if you're in like a 10-man league, grab Dawson Knox. Grab Dalton Schultz. I'm telling you, Dalton Schultz is the real deal this year. Over Blake Jarwin at the very least. He's gotten twice as many targets so far in 4 games. I think he's definitely the guy they're going to go to in that position. And most of those targets he is catching because it's usually that like cut across or that dump off to the tight end that Dak Prescott it's an easy throw for him because he's not covered. So yeah, if you lost Logan Thomas, if you are trying to stream tight ends, grab one of those guys, on those high-powered offenses like Buffalo and Dallas. Those guys are available.
I'll tell you what this season has definitely confirmed for me.
Okay.
I'm definitely drafting high-end tight ends. It's just so nice to be consistent, dude. It's so nice to be consistent. I had Kelsey for the first part, and then I traded Kelsey in my work league. I had Kelsey. I traded him away in a deal to get where I got Mark Andrews and Zeke and DK Metcalf. It did work out for the best. Mark Andrews has been pretty good, and definitely Zeke has been good since I got him. So, yeah, it's just nice. It's nice to have a tight end that is involved in pass work, that isn't going to be just, like, blocking because that's a game script. Like, they're going to get work.
Get your tight end as if it's another receiver because there's very few out there. I'd say there's probably 8 out there that on a given week, it's very likely that they could get an end zone touchdown. And there's probably 4 that you're like, okay, it's very likely they could win me the week with 20 points or more. That's like Darren Waller, Kelsey, Hawkinson. And honestly, at this point, I don't think Kittle is a plug and play every week now. I think that it's a little bit concerning,
especially with Trey Lance being able to scramble. I just don't see it as much.
Robbie Gould, hamstring injury. I threw that in there because why not? He's a kicker.
You threw that in there because I left him in one of my leagues.
Oh, did you? I had no idea.
Yeah,
how do you feel?
I left him in.
Which league was that?
I felt so stupid, dude.
Was that the redraft league?
No, it was this week in the. It was this week in the
Dynasty.
The Dynasty League.
You still won though. Cool. All right. Well, why don't we dive into our matchup rewind?
Matchup rewind.
Rewind. Thank you, Peter, for making that sound. Really appreciate it, as always. Yeah, Jake, so, I think we had quite the matchups this week. I was, for one, very, very stressed on Monday night due to Austin Eckler's fucking ridiculous performance against me. Going into it, I was like, okay, you know what? He needs 31 points to beat me. It's Austin Eckler. It's not out of the question, but it's not going to happen. He got 29.5 points against me.
Oh, dude, you and I had a very similar situation with this. Both Chargers players. I showed you my work league. Yeah, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Jared Cook. If Jared Cook got 21 points, I would lose. Jared Cook got 19 points.
Yeah.
Oh God,
yeah.
I was stressing.
So we were both stressing for the exact same reason last night. That's funny, dude. I think, and that's what's true here is the Chargers are the real deal on offense, all across the board. They're a very good team. I mean, they beat the Chiefs. The Raiders stood no chance. They're a good team. So yep. What was your overall record for this past week?
I went 3-1 for my games. I won our keeper league. I won dynasty. I won my work league, and I am 0-4 in the straight redraft college league.
It sucks, dude. It's the worst.
It's unbelievable, dude. I won that league. I have for all intents and purposes, a good team. I have Cooper Kupp. So like, it's just, I mean, this last week I didn't plug in Deontay Johnson because he was injured and like they weren't sure if he was going to play, and then he did end up coming off the injury report, but he got like 12 targets. I played friggin' Robbie Anderson.
You played Robbie Brown?
Yeah, I just shut the fuck up.
Sorry. Yeah, I mean, you had a good week. Alvin Kamara fucked you again. Cameron Brate didn't do anything. Sometimes that happens in fantasy. It's just like that one split decision, start-sit decision that just kind of ruins you the week, unfortunately.
Yeah, from here on out, I mean, I like the lineup I have. I'm pretty happy. I mean, Lamar Jackson, Cooper Kupp, Deontay Johnson, Kamara, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Pittman in my flex, and Cameron Brate as a tight end.
And what you just said before is like having that tight end position is such an advantage. You don't have that in this league.
If I had decent points for my tight end, I would have won this last week.
You lost by 5 points against a guy who put up 116. Like, that's not a good week for him.
For sure. So.
He's 4-0. He should not be 4-0. Not with those type of point
that's fantasy.
Yeah,
that's part of what makes fantasy great. Part of what makes fantasy awful. Pretty much. Other than that, I mean, I had a big week in our keeper league.
Huge
week. I mean, I started Matt Ryan, Justin Jefferson, DJ Moore, Eckler, who got and Jonathan Taylor as well, who all got over 20 points.
Yeah, I
still got a 15-point game from Waller, and just solid week. Everyone performed or did better than expected,
except DeAndre Swift. That's the only one, and he still had a relatively good game on paper, I would say.
He didn't even. Yeah, I mean, I think he had a decent game for actual football. Yeah, I mean, 6 targets for 4 receptions for 33 yards. Not really, but I mean, 9
points is not nothing. But that being the worst performance on your team from
it doesn't lose you the week generally if you
exactly. Yeah, but having DJ Moore, Justin Jefferson, Austin Eckler, Matt Ryan, I mean, that's Jonathan Taylor on his best week of the year. Dude.
That's the only reason I love Cordero Patterson. I don't have him anywhere, but I got Matt Ryan.
I know, that's the thing that helps you out right there. Yeah, what about Dynasty? How'd you do in Dynasty?
For Dynasty, well, Dynasty I did pretty good. My record's not great. I'm kind of determining right now whether or not I want to tank.
It's tough. I mean, that is something you do have to think about in Dynasty.
I'm 2-2. I'm in 9th place. There is 5 of us that are 2-2. So I think this week really determines. If I win this week, I might make a shot at it.
I think if Jonathan Taylor keeps producing, you definitely should at least try. And maybe if you can acquire a tight end, then definitely try to win this year. Otherwise,
I've been trying to get Mark Andrews, and I've been trying to get Waller. No deals on either of them.
I would love to trade with you, but I'm not giving you Kyle Pitts, and he's the only tight end I have on my roster. So, sorry.
Man, I want Kyle Pitts.
So I also went, I went 2-1 in our major league. So I won the keeper, I won the dynasty, and I lost the redraft league. I lost my work league by less than 2 points because Chris Godwin and Tom Brady were playing in a emotional, weather-affected game. That really screwed me over. I needed 21 from them to win. They got me, I think, 18 combined. So that sucked because I was 3-0 in that league. Really sucks.
Yeah.
I'm still number 1 in my division because it's one of those weird leagues where you have divisions. I'm still up by a full game on everybody in that division. I'm really happy with my dynasty team right now. I'm number 1 in the league. I have Cordero Patterson, who got me a ridiculous amount of points in my flex position. He got me 34.6 points in full PPR. He's only on the field for 26% of the game. How is that? How is that possible, dude? Did you see some of the catches he got?
Dude, it's nuts.
He's an athlete out there. He was catching balls over people's heads and shit. Like he is really good at football. It's like ridiculous.
I mean, they're giving him the opportunities to capitalize on it, so that's good. That's good.
Yeah, I'll take it. The only huge disappointment for me so far is got to be Kyle Pitts. I mean,
you should get him off your team.
Yeah, I'm thinking about not doing that. I think I'm going to keep him.
You should get him off your team. I'll give you a good offer.
No, you won't.
I will give you. I'm willing to pay up. I believe Kyle Pitts is worth paying up for him, but just
I'm open to deals. I'm always open to deals, but I don't have another tight end.
But who would you want? Like, what do you?
I think this is an off podcast discussion.
Is it though? People got to hear the deals. Give you CeeDee Lamb.
I want Tommy Tremble straight up.
Sure.
Deal. Okay.
Deal.
Yeah, we'll talk about it off podcast, but I'm going to keep Kyle Pitts on my team. I'm just a little concerned. He's not getting the end zone targets because of Cordero Patterson, but fortunately I have him on the same team. So it's like I almost am getting those targets. I just have to get it from someone else in my flex position as opposed to
that is not sound fantasy analysis. Please don't listen to that.
No, that is
logic. You do not get targets for your tight end by starting Cordero Patterson, who is a strict outlier in fantasy football.
No. I think like for instance, like say CeeDee Lamb, you have CeeDee Lamb and Amari Cooper on your team. Amari Cooper got some crazy targets last week, and CeeDee Lamb didn't. But if they make enough to really counteract the other player, where it's enough points that two players could theoretically
get, but they're not the same position.
Week,
they're not. You're comparing apples to oranges.
No, I'm comparing football players to football players. And
I'd start a kicker
Patterson.
in every position if I could every week.
You wanted to eradicate kickers from our league altogether, so that's a fucking lie.
Yeah, I do want to eradicate kickers and defenses are stupid.
All right, Jake. You had a lot of these, but if you were to pick, I'm going to let you pick two because there were a lot. So who were your two dudes of the week?
Oh, man. Dude of the week. You know, just personally, I got to give it up to Matt Ryan leading the charge in my keeper league. 31.8 points. That's pretty solid for Matt Ryan, considering he's fairly a statue. I started Tom Brady in my keeper league. He's not my dude. So, but what I'm saying is I was behind. And really what led the charge in that league and saved me is Najee Harris for 15 carries for a touchdown and 6 receptions.
That's in your work league you have
29
Najee?
yards, yep. Got Najee and Zeke. I mean, I don't know. Zeke for 20 carries and 143 yards. He put up numbers, and he did. None of that is receiving work. He didn't even get a catch. That's a big game.
My dude of the week has got to be none other than Cordero Patterson. I mean, dude.
Clear cut.
We don't need to talk about it again, but I mean, come on. I picked the guy off waivers in Dynasty. Like, I didn't even draft him. We had 24 rounds in our Dynasty draft, and I got this guy for nothing. It's just RB2 on the year. Like, the guy, he's on pace for like 21 touchdowns and like 1,400 yards.
Yeah, he's also an outlier. Important to know. Yeah,
this is not something like you're not gonna plug and play him every week, but if he gets 2 points, don't be surprised.
Just keep playing him, but just know he is an outlier. This is not obviously normal.
Also, Diebel Samuel is worth mentioning. He did get a broken coverage touchdown for 75 yards. That was at one point the only completion that Trey Lance made the entire game was this completely broken coverage. They just let him go. He grabbed the ball with nobody within 10 yards. But I saw it live and I was freaking out. So I was literally, I got it from my chair. I was like, fuck you, Allie. Fuck you. I almost going to lose to you this week. But not really. We love Allie. Jake, who's your dud of the week?
You have Cooper Kupp in here. That's wrong. He's not a dud. 11 points, dude. Every wide receiver is inconsistent. Every wide receiver is inconsistent. Don't give me some argument about, but he put up 30 points last week.
Okay. I won't say it then, but I think he's the reason you lost against Chris.
He got 13 targets. Nothing's changed. I'm not remotely worried about it. That's what's going to happen. I made a mistake. I should have started Deontay Johnson there. It's important to not freak out about issues because I've had 3 offers between last week and today for Cooper Kupp, and they were dog shit.
So no one's offered you, like, for instance, no one's offered Tyreek Hill, Calvin Ridley.
I don't want Calvin Ridley. No, I have one sitting right here for it's Russell Wilson and Tyler Lockett for Cooper Kupp.
Damn, who's your quarterback in that league? Lamar Jackson, right?
Yeah.
So you don't even need It's basically Tyler Lockett
Yeah,
for Cooper Kupp.
Yeah, I have Lamar Jackson. So, yeah, I would. Yeah, I don't need Russell Wilson.
That's a reject for me.
Yeah, I would maybe consider giving him up for Kelsey, Waller. That's it, pretty much.
My dud of the week is Kirk Cousins. You know what? I don't want to make excuses. I went against the Browns defense. Okay, yeah, big deal. Big deal. That doesn't mean you have to score, 200 pass yards, 1 touchdown to Justin Jefferson because he's a god on the football field and throw an interception and lose me my week. I expect better from Kirk. I really do. Because he over the last few years has done really good, with an average of like 25 points a game so far this year. So I don't expect 10 points to lose me my week against Mitchell.
Talking matchups.
But yeah, what are you looking at in the keeper league?
So in the keeper league, I've got I'm facing Dogs Dig Rats Burrow.
I believe that is Brad, who just came off a nice win against Logan. Sorry, Logan.
I've got Matt Ryan, who it might seem like a cake matchup against the Jets, but the Jets have been really good on defense this year.
Is that true?
Yes, it's true. Go look it up, dude. They've been getting sacks left and right, dude. They've been really good. I've watched a little bit of film and a little bit of breakdown from people. They've been really good. People just aren't talking about it because Zach Wilson's throwing 1 billion picks every game.
Poor guy.
I'm really excited for Justin Jefferson that week in Detroit. And I'm hoping that Stephon Diggs doesn't have his get right game against Kansas City. Really, really hoping about that.
Dude, Kansas City and Buffalo are playing next week. That is going to be an awesome
I'm
game.
really worried that's going to be a shootout.
Man.
And I'm playing against Diggs, so I'm not stoked for that.
I don't know, but yeah, I mean, it looks like Josh Allen is passing the ball to different players. It's not just going to Diggs, it's going to Beasley, it's going to Sanders, it's going to Knox.
Yep.
I mean,
that one to me is 50-50. I think that's a 50-50 game. I think either of us could walk away from it. For the love of God, I need a win in my redraft league. I'm playing against TJ, who's also in our dynasty league. He currently has no kicker started, so hopefully that's what he has on Sunday, because that's the only way that I'm going to have any kind of advantage over him. Please, God, I've never been 0-5. I've never once been 0-5 in fantasy football.
Dude, I don't wish that upon you. I really don't. I don't wish that upon you.
It's insane. It's insane. All my other leagues, very much a competitor.
He does have Tyreek Hill, CeeDee Lamb, Barkley, Herbert. I mean, I don't think his team is like astronomically unbeatable.
It seems really good.
It is really good. It is really
and
good.
then in Dynasty, I've got Joe Burrow in Green Bay. I think that's going to be a good game. Jonathan Taylor in Baltimore. Baltimore's pretty banged up right now, so we'll see. I pay attention to that game. That'll be a good one. I'm hoping that I can start Samaje Perine over Trey Sermon, because Trey Sermon's garbage.
Yeah,
I just
what a
can't
shame.
drop him. I
What a
can't
shame.
drop him because I need starting running backs, unfortunately, and Elijah Mitchell isn't back yet. So, that being said, I think I could win. Dane's only 1-3, and his team's just not showing up, and he just lost Chark. So, I think I can win this one. Just really, I got to get a kicker in there, and I just got to get somebody better than Trey Sermon, and I got to get somebody better than Cameron Brate.
And theoretically, you have good matchups this week. Ridley against the Jets. You have Jefferson against Detroit. And
I have Burrow in Green Bay.
Mike Evans against Miami. CeeDee Lamb against the Giants. Like, you couldn't ask for better matchups for all your receivers. So I think it's going in your direction. If I were betting money, if I were a betting man, which I'm not, I would. Even though I play fantasy football, I consider myself not a betting man.
I'm not a gambler, but I do love fantasy.
I do love fantasy as well. So for me in the keeper league, I'm going against Dane. Wait a minute. Are we playing Dane? Hold on. What? Oh, so you're playing Dane. Okay, so it's vice versa. Because a few weeks ago,
in Dynasty.
I'm
playing Dane in Dynasty. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm playing Dane in the keeper league. He's got Herbert, Thielen, Beasley, Chubb, Henderson, Fant, and Marvin Jones. That doesn't sound very good to me. I really like my keeper league team. If I get Christian McCaffrey back this week, I win. So hopefully I do. Otherwise, I got Gibson, Pitts against the Jets. Maybe he actually breaks out this week. I sure fucking hope so. CeeDee Lamb and Chris Godwin, Prescott. I mean, Deebo Samuel. against Arizona might be a little tough, but other than that, I think my team could pull off another win in this league.
I think you got that one. I wouldn't be concerned about that league.
And we love to beat Dane, in a fantasy football sense. For some reason,
ever since Dane took that championship, that for sure. I mean, I have a reason. You just support me because that was heartbreaking.
Yeah, no one wants that. I would rather you.
That was so sad.
Here's the thing. I'm going to come out and say I would rather you have won that championship than go 0-5 this year in the redraft, because I hate to see that. Yeah. That's sad. No one wants to see that happen.
Yeah, that is sad.
I go against Ethan this week in the redraft league. He is 2-2. I am 1-3. He's got a good team. He's got Hopkins, Mike Williams, Derrick Henry. Noah Fant has been pretty good, and Tom Brady on his team. I think my team is good, though. I mean, Godwin, Devonta Smith.
Really, really good team.
Yeah. So, I think, did I just lose someone? Oh, yeah, Montgomery, obviously.
Yeah.
So,
your team's very competitive in that league.
Yeah, 1-3. I feel like, again, I've had so many tough losses this year across the board in all my leagues where my record just doesn't show how good I think my teams have actually performed. It's rough.
That's fantasy football, dude. You can have, statistically a really good team and just still lose.
Yeah. So keep your head up, guys. It happens. It's only week 5, though. But when we're coming on week 7, 8, 9, you might want to start feeling sorry for yourself. But let me look at my matchup here in Dynasty real quick. I'm going against Team Hairy Legs, and that is a Joe Biden joke, apparently. Sorry, Joe.
Yeah, that's Connor.
Yeah, that's Connor. Let's see. He's got a very solid team, and as a matter of fact, Kyler Murray, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Barkley, DJ Moore, Hawkinson, and Goddard, and Kareem Hunt. That is a good team. He is one of the 3-1 teams in our league. So he's actually right behind me right now. That's a tough matchup. Absolutely. We'll see. I thought last week was going to be my toughest matchup, but I think he actually might be the toughest one so far. So, yeah, we'll see about that one. What do you think? You think I could win that one?
I don't think you can win any games, John.
I'm going for the win in Dynasty this year.
I think Dynasty, you are definitely, I would say, your most competitive league. And I think if I was you, I would really, really start trading to be win now, because you have a lot of win now pieces, and you could be even more, though.
I thought about trading Najee for Derrick Henry or something.
Dude, I will make a trade with you for Najee Harris for win now pieces.
But he is a win now player already. He's really great, but I don't know. I would definitely give you pieces that you want. Well, maybe we could have a full on just trade show where we're just
show.
Yeah, an actual trade. We'll set up a booth.
Oh, what if we should do that yearly? We should do that yearly though, and mid season we'll call it the Fantasy Dudes Trade Show, and we'll go live for we could go live on a whole Sunday, and we can talk trades whenever people want to, and we can watch football the whole day.
Once
we
have
do it in person.
a million followers by week 8 this year, then we'll do it.
Yeah. We'll get a million. We just got to get a million followers first.
Subscribe to the fucking podcast. All right, Jake. Why don't we dive into the TFD mailbox?
Fantasy Dudes mailbox.
Okay. So actually, a lot of these pertain to our actual league mates this week. Logan, for instance, has CMC in another league. He has it in his home league that he's had for years. They actually do an auction draft, which I've never taken part in, but I know we should
definitely try that.
That he's been hyping it up. I'm like, you know what? It sounds really interesting. The reason he has CMC is because he spent a lot of his budget on CMC, and now he's hurt.
I would try it. Yeah.
Let's say, for the sake of the argument, CMC doesn't play for another 3 weeks.
Okay.
Let's say we knew that right now. He's not going to play until
he went on IR.
Sure. Yeah, let's say for some reason,
4 weeks. Gotcha.
What are you trading for? What do you think is a reasonable trade for straight up CMC right now?
Okay, so I can see getting, just based off what you said though, I can see getting a lower tier running back that's still getting a lot of work to a team that has maybe already got enough wins to be competitive, that can grab CMC and go for the real playoff win. It really depends on what position you're in too. If you're 4-0 and you've won this whole week, just
then
kick back.
Really,
yeah,
I wouldn't get rid of him.
I would personally try to get Chuba Hubbard. honestly, like I would try to trade something away for him if you could, or it's too late to say you spend all your fab on him because he is worthwhile, I think, to roster if you have McCaffrey. But in general, the bigger question here is, do you trade big name players when your team's struggling? And I think it really does depend on your specific situation, because like we talked about with my team that's 0-4 with Cooper Kupp, I've had 3 offers today on Cooper Kupp. I could trade him, but I've got to look at my situation. I've got Alvin Kamara, who has a serious history of being incredibly good in fantasy. Plenty of fantasy players have ups and downs. He's incredibly talented. I've still got Clyde Edwards-Helaire, a lot of opportunity on a great offense. And I've got Deontay Johnson, who's getting like 12, 13 targets a game. And then I've got Lamar Jackson. Really, my only hole is tight end. So if somebody offers me a good tight end trade, yeah, I'd consider getting rid of the guy who's, going to be a top 5 wide receiver this season. Because you should be willing to get rid of a superstar in order to maintain a better offense as a whole. If you're getting 30 points from one wide receiver and the rest of your team's shit and you can't, you don't have any running backs, then great, trade Cooper Kupp for 2 solid running backs. Take all of somebody's running back depth and give them an amazing player that they can plug in. So that's really the key, is you have to look at your own roster construction when you're struggling. Are you struggling because you've had some really tight matchups that just the other player happens to have come out on top and, you could have beat the rest, 50% of the league, but you played a tough matchup, or the other person scored the most points in the league, something like that. Don't panic. Don't panic and sell your players, but stay, you have to be prepared to move away from players to improve your roster as a whole.
Yeah, I would say don't get too close to this player. The investment that you made in the player, it does not matter now. It does not matter.
Yes.
You need
ADP no longer matters.
You got to be able to put that past you, because if you want to be able to win the rest of the season and potentially make a run to the championship, if CMC is hurting that chance by having him on your roster when you could be, capitalizing on that big name, maybe you do it. But again, it really depends on your current roster, and it really depends on the league mates and what they're willing to give you. Because, if they're going to give you mediocre options, then don't do it. You just don't do something that you're not comfortable with being like, okay, you know what? Maybe that could help my team win. Yeah, so I know that Chandler offered Clyde Edwards-Helaire to both of us. This morning he offered straight up for Gibson, and I know he offered straight up for Swift in your case. I had to say no. And for my,
I said no on Swift. I just think Swift's got too much upside. And we kind of know where Clyde Edwards-Helaire is at in Dynasty, that I would...
This is in Keeper, by the way.
Yeah, Dynasty might be different. I might consider it because Clyde Edwards-Helaire is very young. Yeah, no to both of them. I would rather have Gibson, and I'd rather have Swift.
The main reasoning for me is, obviously I'm very attached to Gibson, but we just said don't get too attached to your players. For me, he's a 9th round keeper next year. If I give him up for a 2nd round keeper, I'm really handicapping myself in terms of overall value. And I think Gibson's a better player. So
that's the same thing for me, though. For Swift, it's just a 4th round player, but a 4th round running back is 4th round is kind of a den zone. Generally, you don't hit in the 4th round. And actually, I've hit on Taylor and Swift in the last 2 years, which is pretty crazy. Some reason I know how to pick 4th round running backs, I guess. So he's a good keeper there, because then you could go running back, wide receiver, running back, and have 2 elite running backs and 2 elite wide receivers.
If we were gonna help Chandler here,
if we're gonna help him, who I would say,
because he's clearly trying to get a running back. So who do you think is a reasonable target for him?
It's tough, because I would have if he was talking about getting rid of Clyde, I would have tried to say, okay, well, go target Barkley right now.
Yeah,
like a week ago,
last week, but not this week.
Yeah, but Barkley, still, not the worst target. The other person might be like, well, he was injured, and like, do I really want to keep rolling the dice on the Giants? Here's a Kansas City running back. Offer him that and maybe another piece. Maybe you get it. Like, he's a good target.
You can pair him. I would pair Clyde with somebody else.
If you really want to roll the dice and you like living dangerously, I don't think it's stupid to go after Cordero Patterson and something else. Somebody's gonna give it up, dude. Somebody would do that. Somebody would take Clyde for Cordero, and
dude, I think he has Cordero.
You're starting him. Well, that's probably why he's trying to get rid of Clyde. I think you're right. I think that's why he's trying to get rid of Clyde.
He does. So, yeah.
Okay, so that's not solid advice for him. But maybe, I mean, Clyde Edwards-Helaire straight up for like a solid wide receiver is still good. Like, that's something you could do.
I'm done helping
like
Chandler.
Deontay?
He has a great team. Chandler, you have Calvin Ridley, Tyler Boyd, Jalen Hurts, Mark Andrews, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, David Montgomery's going to be back. You have Cordero and Aaron Jones. Fuck off. You're fine. Okay.
I was giving impartial advice.
No, that's fine.
So.
Chandler, you beat me last week. It was bullshit.
Okay. This one's easy for me, even with the loss of Chark, Laviska Shenault, or Beasley. It's Beasley. No
This
thought.
week against the Chiefs or Laviska versus any team is going to be difficult because it's the Jaguars.
Right, dude. And not only this week with the shit going down with Urban Meyers, Chark's gone, team's not doing great. 0-4. Don't start Viska over Cole Beasley. Start Cole Beasley until he's injured and literally can't play or is being on a snap count and limited. Like he's gonna keep getting the work. They're a playoff team. They want to win it this year or next year. They brought in Emmanuel Sanders and he was like, "I want to win a Super Bowl. That's all I care about." He literally said something along the lines of that. So like that's the kind of team they are right now. Play Cole Beasley.
Yeah, I would honestly. You know what? The thing is I feel like you're going to be dealing with a similar situation here because, yes, Beasley is probably going to get volume. I mean, they're going to be slinging the ball left and right and center the entire game against the Chiefs, but there's only so many options for Trevor Lawrence to throw to on that team now.
I think more people step up and Marvin Jones takes a bigger share and James Robinson gets a lot more work. I don't think Viska will get more work. I think his workload will increase. I'm just saying they're not as high value targets to me as what Cole Beasley's getting from Josh Allen.
It might be a wait and see approach here. Just see what Laviska does without Chark in the picture this week, and then just roll with Beasley and see if Laviska is worth holding on to.
Beasley's by far. I'm not saying Viska couldn't outscore Beasley. I'm just saying Beasley's a far safer high floor option.
Yep, I'm with you on that. Final question here is from Dylan Cosgrove. Do you know who this person is?
I know Dylan, yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. This one hurts.
Yeah, Devonta Smith.
One hurts,
this one does hurt.
The Slim Reaper versus Allen Robinson, dude. Allen Robinson, elite talent. He is just, oh man, Matt Nagy and Justin Fields collectively are making this man look like garbage.
Darnell Mooney has been the first read for Justin Fields, at least in the first two games he started.
The only upside is Allen Robinson's going to leave. This is for sure. Like this is the death nail in Allen Robinson leaving after this year.
This is the nail in his coffin.
Yeah, he was already not like sold on it. They franchise tagged him this year. So
I mean, he's gone from horrible quarterback play to horrible coaching,
Poor guy. I hope he goes. Man, what if he goes to like Tampa
again? I think he should go somewhere. He should go maybe
get the bag with
go to Denver with Aaron Rodgers and
the
Devonta
Rams
Smith next year. They can't afford him.
Oh,
they don't have any
you're
fucking
right,
money.
Yeah, they don't have any money. Oh, but what if they got him? Oh, the Pats. Pats could probably afford him next year.
Oh my god,
right?
I would. Oh jeez, if they could get rid of all our other receivers and open up all that cap space for Allen Robinson, maybe keep
Jacoby Myers, Allen Robinson with the two tight end sets with Hunter Henry.
Could you imagine, dude?
Yeah, that's pretty.
With Mac
pretty
Jones
slick.
After 1 year of development with Josh McDaniels and Bill Belichick.
That's pretty slick.
Boy.
But anyway, I'm starting Devonta Smith here for sure. Allen Robinson's been so spotty. He's going to have a blow-up game soon here because he's just talented and things will work out. But for the love of God, if you have the choice between Devonta Smith and Allen Robinson, just start Devonta Smith for now.
And if you have Devonta Smith, you're lucky enough to have a rookie that is the first read on every single play with Jalen Hurts, and he's played with him in the past too. I love Devonta Smith, so I might be a little bit partial, but I would obviously start him over Allen Robinson this week. All right, Jake, let's go into week 5 of survival football. You are 4-0.
Survival football.
Let's go.
4-0. I'm Jonathan. I am 2-2 now, actually. Yeah, because I picked the Bucks last week and the Bills the week prior. Jake, you picked the Bills this past week against Houston. They scored 40 points and Houston scored A lot less than that.
Yes.
0,
That is
in fact.
correct.
So
That
I would say
is
that was a pretty good
correct.
pick. Do you see I have the schedule right there for you?
Yeah, I like that
You're
a lot.
welcome.
I feel it's kind of a baller move.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Panthers.
The Panthers are going against the
Eagles.
Are you sure about that one?
I'm sure about that one.
You don't want to take the
Look.
Patriots?
I'm not going to sit here and take a bunch of chalk picks this entire season, John. I've already won.
Okay, well, it's coming from the guy who you just said you were going to get 17 picks in a row or 18 picks in a row.
That's right, and I'm going to get there by making some bold, hard decisions, Jonathan.
Okay. The Panthers were really good
I'm
against
saying the
Cowboys
Panthers are
last
going to be
week.
5-0.
Well, they're not 5-0, but they're 3.
They're going to be. No. Oh, shit. They did lose.
They lost to Dallas, but it was
They
a
did
very
lose to
competitive
Dallas.
game.
That's right, yeah. Well,
still wanna go
still,
with it?
I believe in Panthers. Yeah, no, I'm 100% with it.
All right, I'm adding it here so I don't forget because I'm coming to the point where I can't retain that information anymore.
No, I don't. I wouldn't expect you to, but I say it and then it immediately goes out of my brain.
Yeah. Okay. So you're gonna go with the Panthers. Man, I'm a pick. Man, I'm gonna go ahead and take the Washington football team this week, playing at home against the Saints. Okay. The Washington football
I like
team.
how their graphic for the Washington football team has a white square around it.
Yeah, because it's like hardly a real logo.
Yeah,
I love their
what they
colors,
really
though.
would. I really wish they would just stay the Washington football team. It's kind of badass.
Yeah. Like, honestly, fuck having a mascot. Maybe just start a whole new movement. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The New England football team, the New York football team. Why not?
No, that's bad. I don't want that though. I don't want that now.
Okay, now it's stupid. Now it doesn't work.
Yeah, now it's stupid. You're stupid.
Oh, well. All right, that's going to do it for this week, Those Fantasy Dudes podcast. Make sure to check us out on Instagram at Those Fantasy Dudes, thosefantasydudespodcast.com. New episodes every single Wednesday. You can reach out to us on Instagram if you want to submit questions, start and sit, trade questions, anything fantasy football related. And Sunday mornings, Jake is on Instagram. You can go ahead and submit last-minute starts and questions to him.
Yup, I'll be there.
All right, everybody. Good luck in your Week 5 matchups. Unless you're going against us, then eat shit.
Yeah, eat
See
shit.
you next week.
Thanks for tuning in to Those Fantasy Dudes podcast. Make sure to tune in next week and follow us at Those Fantasy Dudes on Instagram.
Hey, you made it to the end of the episode. It's much appreciated if you did make it this far. And if you did make it this far, maybe you'd like to do something for us and go ahead and leave a review over on your preferred podcast platform, whether it be Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, whichever one you prefer. It would really help out the show, get us up on that algorithm, and also help other fantasy football players just like yourself get that much needed fantasy advice so they can succeed for the rest of the season.